when we're working a job we hate, or we're in a relationship we don't want to be, like how our body is trying to tell us.
Let's do it.
I don't know if I have enough information about that though.
I do.
You have enough information about this?
Yes. Definitely. Ding dong. Who is it? It's Yvonne.
And Stephanie.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Yvonne.
And I'm Steph.
And today we're going to be talking about
body stuff.
Body stuff. Ignoring our bodies.
And the consequences
of
ignoring our bodies.
I want to share a story from myself where I ignored my body and like all the signals it was giving me. And really, so it was when I was in this relationship for 4 years he was an alcoholic, and it was just a very, very stressful relationship. Lots of like volatility. There was violence, emotional abuse, all that stuff. For years, actually 6 months into the relationship, like my intuition, my gut knew this was never going to work out. 4 years later, I'm still with the person because I couldn't end it. Yeah, it was just horrible. I had lost myself. I had no self-esteem. I felt shitty. I felt anxious all the time. Like it was just not good. And then one day I got sick, and I got so sick. Like it started with a cough or whatever. I think I had a cold. And then I got tinnitus or whatever it's called. I lost my voice completely. And what a metaphor. And that was my body just kicking me in the ass, like telling me, you have completely lost yourself. So now I'm going to take your voice. Because I had no voice. Like there was nothing of me left. So finally my body was like, okay, I'm going to take that now. Now you got nothing. Now do you see? And at that point, it was I think it was a week where I didn't have my voice. And within that week, I made the choice, okay, I'm going to leave this relationship.
Wow. And the only time we really, really listen to our bodies is when it becomes so bad that it's like cancer, or it needs surgery, or a disorder or a disease that is stopping us. And I remember meeting this guy. He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Mm.
And he could no longer work hard, and he could no longer do the things he used to do and just go, go, go. And he had to start listening to his body, because there's multiple sclerosis, there's such a fine line about overworking your body, like it could only handle so much. And he said to me that it was the best thing for him to get multiple sclerosis, to develop it, because to have it in his life, because he became closer to his family. And he became healthier, because taking care of his body and listening to his body became something so important for him. And it was like, wow, like his body really took over his life. It was like, excuse me, I need you to stop working. And I've been telling you for a while. So now we're going to do it this way, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Gabor Mate, Gabor Mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He wrote a book, When the Body Says No. Subtitle, so it's When the Body Says No, the Cost of Hidden Stress. Gabor Mate talks about multiple sclerosis and a commonality between the people, like the patients he had that had multiple sclerosis, where they had an inability to say no. They could not say no. So this constant, like, always saying yes to people and not listening to themselves, and just constantly, not being able to set boundaries, not saying no, that eventually developed so much stress in the body that it developed into multiple sclerosis. So Gabor Mate makes the case that so many diseases like multiple sclerosis, like diabetes, breast cancer, autoimmune diseases, chronic pain, are due to repressed emotions, due to like pushing ourselves down, due to not talking about our feelings, and that stress just manifesting as disease.
Like when we get a cold or when we have a migraine, it's really asking us, please go rest.
Mm-hmm.
because your body, one, has had that stress. You didn't listen to it. It took down your immune system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it went into
Mm-hmm.
overload. Then you got a cold and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
push through that too. And it's like, seriously? And so I think a lot of times we convince ourselves, oh, that's just me feeling stressed, but it doesn't really mean anything. I don't need to listen to it.
And this thing about like when we feel something, it's like, oh, you're just stressed, but it's not you're just stressed. It's your
Mm-hmm.
stressed. It's your body's like alarm system. It's sirens going off. Like, pay attention. There's something going on. Growing up in my family, it was always like you worked hard for sure. You didn't stay home because you had a cold. You didn't stay home because you had a headache. The amount of times that in my working life that I went to work with a fever, I remember feeling like my head was detached from my body and like working in hotels, checking people in, just like zoned out of it. But I was like, oh, well, it's only a fever. Like, I'm not going to stay home because of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember working as a receptionist at the front desk and like answering the phone, but my throat was so sore. And I'm like, oh, oh. And I remember my boss calling in and I'm like, oh. Like I can't barely talk. And she's just like, I'm coming in to work for you. Like, just wow. I can't
Mm-hmm.
believe I did that.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's interesting too is with COVID, it was like, so in your face about how many times you go to work and you don't feel well.
Mm-hmm.
And so with COVID, there was this procedure where if you don't feel well, you can't go to work.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, but I always go to work with a headache. I always go to work with a stomach ache. Like, am I supposed to stay home? It was like permission for the first time in your life that if you don't feel well, you can't go to work.
So how do we listen to our bodies? Like how do we avoid our bodies, giving us serious disease? Like how do we start paying
Yeah.
attention?
Well, it's something that kind of goes against what we enjoy. It's sitting with that discomfort. And I think the biggest thing too is one, people don't teach you. Like you're not taught as a little kid. This is what your body's telling you. Listen to your body and how to deal with emotions in a healthy way. Those are
Mm-hmm.
not things that you learn
No.
because your parents didn't know and their parents didn't know. And it
Mm-hmm.
goes on and on and on. The reason why we suck at listening to our bodies is a lot of us don't want to sit past that point. And I've gotten to that good place where it feels like home, really. It feels like coming home. One of the ways I do it, because I'm a journaler, I like to journal and kind of write both sides of it. So my questions are inquiry from myself and the answers that come up for my body. And I just let it go free flow. I don't try and make it formal. And that's one way. It's really like I feel like meditation is a huge thing for people to learn how to sit with the discomfort. And it's baby steps because I suck at meditating. Like I am so wanting to run away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be sitting there. I'm like, okay, 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes on my clock. I'm going to sit here for 10 minutes. I'm just going to let what comes up come up. And I'll be sitting cross-legged on the floor, sitting there. And I'm like, oh God, I'm so uncomfortable.
Mm.
Oh, this hurts so bad. And my back hurts. And my tailbone hurts. And my sit bones hurt. And the next thing I would do is to find out what makes you feel better. It's like playing hot and cold with your body. So it's like, does feeling in nature give me some relief? Yes, it gives me relief. Or does
Mm-hmm.
doing something creative give me some relief? Yes, it gives me relief, or it doesn't. It adds to the monkey mind. Like whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, you keep doing this like hot and cold. What helped you?
Similar to what you said, meditation for sure. And even like just as soon as something comes up, like if I notice, okay, my stomach's cramping or I'm getting tight in the chest, or like I've had this in the last couple of days, actually, the back of my neck is quite stiff. So
Mm-hmm.
just noticing that, and I don't even have to be in meditation. I can just take a moment and just tune in and feel that like tension in my neck, for instance. I always ask, what are you trying to tell me? When symptoms show up, like a headache or sore shoulders or tummy ache or anything like that, it's so important to take a moment and just tune in, be with it before you take the Tylenol, before you take a nap
Acknowledge
and
it.
zone out.
Mhm.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
acknowledge it and just let it be there for, even if it's just 30 seconds.
I was just going to say, it doesn't have to be a long time, because it's really just that acknowledgement and being like, okay, I feel you. I feel you. I have a migraine right now.
Excellent.
Today on the podcast, we are speaking about intuition and body connection.
Yes. As we are women, we are going to lower our voices so people want to listen to us, like women sportcasters.